10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. What a fight! I think Canelo won it.
Juan, the Hispanic causing panic, Lascano.
Hispanics are causing panic, baby. Let's do it.
What's going on, everybody? D-Style Boxing here. Thanks for those joining me live. To those that'll be joining me on archive. Me joined by, of course, my co-host, G Funky. We're also joined by Joe Habeeb from Ringside Reporter and Mario Munguia from The Boxing Boys. Check out The Boxing Boys every morning, 9 a.m. and all that good stuff. No Thursday show this week, though. All right. So, but we'll be there. We'll make it happen still. And I'll see about doing a roundtable either way on Thursday. Everybody stay posted on that. The road, G Funky. We're on the road. You know what I mean? Like, you know,
that's right.
Told to hit the road, Jack. HCP 66. Get your kicks and hit and make sure you hit the like button, right? Of course, I'm over here from El Paso, Texas. G Funky's from Sacramento. 915-916. Stand up. All right. Juan Lascano, born in El Paso, grew up in El Paso, trained out of and fought out of Sacramento. Therefore, the name Hispanics Causin panic. Right? Everybody learns something new every day. Did you learn that today, Joe Habeeb?
100%. Every day is a learning experience, a teaching moment.
That's it. That's right. Mario Munguia from the Boxing Boys. What's going on with the Boxing Boys, brother? What do you guys got?
Oh man, we're doing well right now. We're gonna be this Thursday landing in Atlanta for shows at the Buckhead in Atlanta, obviously. Friday and Saturday, we're doing the commentating. So we're super excited. This is the second or third time. I can't even remember now. I think it's the second time we're doing it. And yeah, a lot of like really good fights they got planned. Actually, they can have a pay-per-view for it online. So, you know, excited. We're definitely excited about it.
Absolutely. We have the one and the only Josh on here. Josh, the boxer. How's it going, brother?
Hey, it was good. How y'all doing?
We're good, brother.
We're doing really, really good. Really good.
Sir.
Make a war. Can you talk to us about, you know, the real war? Man, talk to us about your nickname to start off, brother.
Yeah, my nickname, the Real War, it came from because, like, I went by the name of Hands of Stone, which was Roberto Duran's name. And me and my strength and conditioning coach at the time, her name was Sharon Baker. She trained under Brother Nazim, so she had me where as though, like, she like, you like to go to war a lot when you sparring and stuff. Like, yeah, I'm like, shit, I gotta make everything a war, like everything I've been through, you know, with life and all that. She like, your name should be the Real War. So she actually came up with that name for me, and I just took it and ran with it.
Cool.
So, Josh, talk to us about how you got started in boxing. Like, when did you pick it up, and you know, did you love it immediately?
No. Nah, boxing actually was a punishment for me. Coming up
is that right?
Kid, yeah, coming up as a kid, my dad was like, when I was younger, he was like in and out of jail. So, he seen me one day fighting, getting into the fight on the corner of my block, and I was always fighting in school. So he like, you like to fight a lot? I'm like, yeah, why not? Like, he like, I'm gonna take you somewhere where they like to fight at. So I'm like, where you gonna take me at? Like, fighting. Like I love fighting. So he took me into a boxing gym. It started out as me just going into the gym. Then I sparred. I actually sparred my first day in there. I met this kid named Chris, and I boxed him, and he dropped me. He dropped me with a body shot, and I was crying and all that. Like, Dad, I don't want to box no more, Dad. Like, because it hurted, So, and my brother was on the sideline, like, quit, like, to tell me to quit, like, leave it alone, bro. Like, so I'm like, nah, I ain't gonna stop. My dad gave me like a task. He told me, like, this your punishment. If you can beat the kid that dropped you, you can stop boxing.
Mm.
And sure enough, I trained for like 2 to 3 weeks, trained real hard, came in the gym every day, went running with my dad afterwards. And I came and I did what I had to do to the bull. I actually dropped him. And my dad, like, yeah, you can stop boxing if you want to. I'm like, nah, Dad, I like boxing. Boxing's fun to me. So I kept going. I kept it going in after that. Like,
Got you.
yeah, I made it into, it became like what I really wanted to do. Because he like, if you keep doing it, then, but you can't play with it. You got to go full throttle with it. Like, there ain't going to be no outside or nothing. We're going to make this like your life if this is what you want to do. And that's what I decided I wanted to do.
Now, being from Philly, we usually hear like those tough gyms out there. There's usually wars in the sparring sessions.
Yeah.
Talk about that a little bit. You got any war stories for us?
My name is Real War, so I actually like I try to go to war all the time. It's like the gym where I'm at. I train with Gerard and this Stephen Coolboy Steph, and us. Like, it's basically like it ain't no wars. We don't go to war with each other. We just we see each other as competition. But we help each other get to the next level where we need to be.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of other gyms that they go to war with each other and all that. Like,
Yeah.
we don't do that.
You hear a lot of that out there in Philly.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. I don't like going into the gym where I feel like it's gonna be a war.
Yeah.
Like,
It's supposed to be practice anyways. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's the way I look at it.
Because I want to work on things. I don't want to just be trying to knock somebody's head off. Nah.
I want to ask you something now. Being from Philly,
Now, if I have to, I will though.
Yeah. A lot of legendary fighters come out from where you're from. Which one was your favorite, and which one do you pattern your style after the most?
From Philly, my favorite growing up as a kid.
Don't say Rocky.
Nah.
All right.
Nah, growing up as a kid, I came up under Joe Frazier and him. I was training with him, so he taught us the Joe Frazier hook and all that. He used to train us on Saturdays and everything. And even as he got older, he always still like trained us and kept us around. So he was he was my favorite. But as I got older, my era became like the Danny Garcias, the Julian Williams, the Rasheem Jefferson, the Carl Dynamite Dargans and stuff, and so on. So I started watching a lot of Julian Williams and a lot of Danny Garcia. Julian Williams was actually my favorite of my era.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Talk to us about Joe Frazier. I heard stories. I don't know how accurate they were that he was living in the gym. Was that true?
Yeah. Yep. It was apartments and stuff upstairs,
Okay.
But he stayed, like, his office was in the back of the gym. He lived in the back of his office. He had like a room back there with a TV, all that. He stayed there, like, cause all he knew was boxing. His family had homes and stuff. They had houses and stuff that they owned, but he ain't ever want to go nowhere.
Okay, so it wasn't like I guess because when people say, "Man, Joe Frazier's living in the gym," did they picture like the locker room and like sheets in the bottom on the concrete floor or something like that? You know what I mean? So he had a pretty good spot there, or at least decent, like a bed, TV. It's where you want it to be.
Huh?
Like, do you
What was
think that's
that?
where he wanted to be?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yes, it
Okay.
was. You know,
You
because
know, when you say he touched you,
it
the
was
whole.
convenient for him.
Okay. All right. I mean, that sounds good, because I always had like that image of like close to homeless, but he's just living in the gym. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of the image I had. So it's good to see, it's where he wanted to be, and he was training kids like yourself and stuff like that.
Yeah.
How was he as a instructor? Let's call him. Like, was he strict? Was he like,
He was strict.
easygoing?
He was strict. Nah, he wasn't easy going. He was strict. He didn't like long hair. He didn't like braids. He didn't like loud, he didn't like the new school of music or nothing. Like, we had to train, and then we had to throw his hook. We had to do his way of training.
Okay.
Yeah, but it played a major part, how he helped you develop your own style, but we're using his hook.
So, Josh, you do have a fight scheduled on the 24th at the 2300 arena, correct?
Yes.
But you don't have your opponent yet, correct?
They actually just was talking to my trainer about an opponent.
Okay, and so they have settled on one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm from what I'm hearing, yeah, they settled on one.
Oh yeah, who you gonna give that to us?
I don't know his name. I didn't even ask my trainer his name.
Oh, you don't. So you don't have to like train for anybody. You don't like really watching film on your opponents or anything like that.
No.
Okay. How do you keep that intensity though in training? When you're working towards a certain fighter or goal, or
my training them, I'll probably study or watch his fights and stuff.
Got you.
I just go off of what they tell me, and I always train intense. I train like I'm getting ready for a title fight or something. Like, I don't have to, but that's how I train.
Okay. All right.
I just stay ready to prepare for anything.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Of course.
JC, I appreciate that super chat, brother. Much appreciate this HCP. Whenever your career is over, right, and someone writes a book about your career, once they're done with that book, what do you want them to come out thinking about you? Like, what lesson? How are they going to remember you?
As a warrior, a motivational warrior. Because I like to motivate people. People to do, like, not saying I'm doing great. You feel me? But I always want people to look at me and be like, "Oh, he's a great inspiration," but also do better. Than whatever I do. And I also want them to remember me as a warrior. Exciting.
Okay. So, because if you're familiar with Meldrick Tater, he was from Philadelphia. He had a fight of the year with Julio Cesar Chavez. He was winning the fight, and then he got knocked out in a controversial fashion, but they stopped. Richard Steele, the referee, stopped the fight with a couple seconds to go, right? One of the criticisms some pundits had about him was he should have just boxed him a little more. He shouldn't have engaged as much. And while it's up to debate whether that was a choice or not, it was perceived that it was that Philadelphia, heart, that Philadelphia, wanting to go out there and fight like Philadelphia fighters do. Do you carry some of that with you? Like where you want to fight, like you don't want to just, box and do you see that as, as a good thing, bad thing? Like, how do you see that?
I carry it, but you got to know when the right time to use it. Can't have too much of it.
Okay.
Because sometimes your heart can be a downfall.
Now, you had a period of inactivity from like 2017 to 2020.
Yeah.
Were there any issues going on there? Were you thinking about maybe stepping away for a while, or what was the situation with that?
Nah, I actually was going through some things where I lost my big brother, my
I'm
uncle,
sorry to hear that.
my big brother, my uncle, and my cousin that was like my brother that was living with me all in the same year. So I needed a mental break.
I got you. Sorry to hear that, brother.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
needed a
sorry.
mental break for some time just to get my head together because they was like close people to me while I was in the sport.
Gotcha.
Always was around me in the gym and everything.
Got any questions, G Funky?
No, I just I'm always interested in the history of that city. I mean, rich history over there in Philadelphia
Yeah.
with fighters and stuff like that. It's cool to hear you talk about Smoking Joe, though. That's, man, I bet that was something to meet him in person. You know?
Yeah. It was great. I loved him.
You run into Bernard Hopkins down there at all?
Yeah.
Sorry,
I've
Mario.
seen Bernard.
No, sorry.
I actually trained with him before at down Spring Garden at Johan's gym before, you know, and he run into him. He got a vegan spot down in Frankfurt, so I bumped into him a couple times.
Yo, I got one more. You had mentioned, training with boots and everything. We had seen on his social media about him posting, moving up to 160 possibly, or at least just moving up. Period. Training with him, being able to see him every day. Is that something you can envision for him to jump up that far? I mean, is he that big? Is he that strong? Do you think that's really on the plans?
Yeah, that kid, he's strong. He's strong.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if he were to move up now, you think he survives? I mean, not just survives, but thrives at the 154, 160.
Hell yeah.
Wow. Okay. You think he's really doing it?
Nah, I don't know. You never know. But not right now.
Got it.
Who wins right now? Boots Ennis or Errol Spence?
Boots Ennis.
Repping Philly all day.
Yeah,
Man, that's representing hard right there. You know?
Yeah, that kid different.
That's what we keep
and
hearing.
The better the fighter y'all put in front of you.
I gotta be honest. I like him a lot. Just by watching him.
Yeah,
you can tell that guy can fight, man.
Tremendous talent for sure.
Every time, each time, like I watch him even sparring. The better the fighter is, the better you're going to see him. I watched him spar world champion at his weight.
So that's boxing. That's boxing's potential next pound for pound king down the road.
Yeah,
That's right. Now, if I'm not mistaken, if Boxrick is correct, you are a southpaw, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you get a lot of calls
Southpaw.
for sparring because you're a southpaw?
I could switch up.
Okay.
Nah, I was getting a bunch of calls at one point, but when I went inactive and came back, it wasn't like a lot of calls calling. But pretty soon, I know they're gonna be calling again because I'm back active and I'm like physically, like I'm training, and I work with one of the best in Philly now. So It's gonna start being a lot. It has been a lot of people coming down just to work with me.
Okay. Do you still think in 2021? Do you still think that the old adage that the southpaw has the advantage? Do you still think that's true today?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, I see it in the gym. I see it in fights. But it's for some fighters. It's for some fighters because it's other fighters that can adjust to it. So, certain right-handed fighters are southpaw killers, as they say.
Now you said you could switch up. Is that something you worked on, or is that just natural? Like, are you able? Do you write with both hands? Like, do you?
It's something I worked on a little bit. I worked on it a little bit in sparring in the gym. I actually tried it in a fight and perfected it. So I do it in the fights a lot. I do it more in the fights than I do in the gym.
All right. Okay. How long do you You're a lightweight? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. How long do you plan to stay there? Like for a while, or are you going to be moving up soon? Like how's the weight for you?
The pandemic, I had put on a lot of weight, So this is actually me working my way back down to lightweight just to see where my body is. But if I don't feel right at lightweight, I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna go back up to junior lightweight and stay there for a while.
Yeah,
Okay.
because for those that don't know, you in your last fight in 2021 in January, you weighed 145 and a half, correct?
Yeah, I fought at 47.
And that was you working your way back down. So you plan on getting a little. What's the next fight scheduled at weight wise?
140.
140 on the dot. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm on weight now.
But ideally, you want to go back to lightweight, right? That's where you want to campaign.
Yeah, I want to try. See how I feel.
Okay.
How do you feel at 140?
Strong. I feel
Strong?
strong. I feel good. Yeah. I can eat what I want.
Yeah.
Now, make a war. I mean, you are, from what it shows me here, and I always say that because sometimes fighters have actually said, "Oh, boxing's wrong," so that's why I'm kind of wording it that way. But it's showing me that you're 28, and every day, of course, the hourglass doesn't stop, right?
At
So,
all.
what's the plan to to get to that top 25 or something ASAP? Like, what's the plan with you and your team?
We just hit getting the ball rolling, trying to fight as many times as we can.
Okay.
Whenever it is possible. We've been working with a couple people like promoters and managers and stuff. So pretty soon that ball gonna be rolling soon. I'll be there. I'll be there sooner than people know it.
Okay. All right. Now, you mentioned Spence earlier, right? You believe that Boots will beat him. What about Pacquiao? Do you think Pacquiao has a shot against Spence, in your opinion?
I think time gonna kick in. Father time gonna kick in this fight, Pacquiao. Sometimes, cause like he been looking. Pacquiao's been looking all right, but he hasn't been looking like the Pacquiao from before. Like you can see like the difference in him. Like he don't move as much as he used to.
Right.
So I believe that Earl is going to touch that body and going to slow him down, or break him down. He bigger than like height wise. He taller, all that. Like,
Think the fight goes a distance?
no,
Nah.
no.
I see. I think it does, but a lot of people don't think it will.
Yeah.
Hey, Josh, there's a big
I
fight.
said I love Pacquiao.
Okay, yeah, Pacquiao's great. There's a big fight this weekend. Undisputed at 154 pounds. Jermell Charlo, right, against Brian Castano from Argentina. Who do you believe will win that fight, brother? Talk to the fans. Who's going to win that fight?
You said who? Brian
Castano and
for
Jermell
Argentina.
Charlo for Undisputed this Saturday.
Jermell.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going with Jermell Charlo.
It's the favorite.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. He the favorite, and like the Charlos, they're big on punchers too, so you never know what to expect with them behind their power. Right. A lot of people can't take their power. Like they get in there at first, but once they start getting touched, it's a whole different ball game.
That's what we saw in the Rosario and the Yurden fight for sure. Do you think that Mel moves up after this? Do you think he's conquered everything else, or do you realistically see him staying there and defending belts?
I think he's gonna stay there.
What would you do?
I'll move up.
Yeah, that's what I would do. I keep telling people.
Yeah, I'll move up. But they still got Boo Boo Andrade and all that to fight that they don't want to fight.
Yeah, that's true. That's a fair point.
I have
waiting for that.
So you can't say you conquered everything till you beat everybody.
Right.
Still
I have one more question myself. Okay. I have one more question for you, Josh. when it comes to this boxing thing, because boxing is not easy. It's a difficult sport to do, period. And it's that much more difficult to reach the top, to be extremely successful at it, and reach those 6-digit figure paydays or whatnot. If this boxing thing doesn't work out for you, do you have a backup plan, or is this like all the marbles are in here? Like what's?
Yeah, I always, set up for a backup.
Okay.
I can always go into business for myself to be a trainer. I started my LLC for my real war gear. I sell fitness clothing. I also do like handyman work. I got a lot of things that I'm good at besides boxing. But everything I do is for boxing. That's my main focus. That's what I love to do. So everything else come after.
So you said you have a backup plan. I want to give you this example. So when Caleb Plant was going to fight the Subway guy, I forgot his name, but right, at the press conference, Caleb said, "Look, all I got is boxing. Like I don't got anything else. This guy over here, he's got an education. He has a lot of other things. This is all I got. So that's going to give me the advantage. Like, do you think fighters that this is the only thing they have, they don't have a backup plan like yourself? Do you think they have an advantage over you in the ring?
No, because basically boxing, like I made these plans recently. I made these plans recently because we don't know what time it is. But I still got the hunger. I still want it, and I still can fight. I'm still willing to fight. I'm still willing to go to war. I'm still willing to do anything to win.
There we go. There we go,
then
man.
I'm still where I'm at, where I've been at. Still in the struggle, still in the city, still where I grew up at, where it's crime and poverty, all that, I'm still fighting to make a way out.
There we go.
So can't nobody there's no advantage over me with that.
And the fight definitely continues. I want to definitely thank you, man, Joshua, the Real War Joe. I want to thank you for coming on. Tell everybody where they can find you on social media and all that good stuff, brother.
Yes, you can follow me on Instagram at Josh the Boxer. Josh DABOXER, not the Boxer.
There you go. There you go,
Awesome.
man. I want to thank you again, and we hope to have you back on in the future, maybe after your fight and all that. And you have yourself a good one, brother.
Sure. All right, thank you. You guys too. I appreciate y'all for having me.
Good luck, champ.
Best of luck, brother.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. Absolutely, man. Oh man. I mean, let me tell you something, man. You never know, right? I seen the prospects reach the mountaintop. I seen the ones that I interview and then they lose their next fight. So you just don't know. All right. Just don't know. I want to go ahead and give a quick shout out to the whole chat. Elaine, I don't know if I pronounced it right. I apologize if I did it. It says Mario representing the boxing voice. I definitely appreciate the support right there. Shout out to the GOAT. Shout out to AHDZ, who doesn't like Mario for some reason. Well, what did Mario do to you? Did he steal his girlfriend? What happened over here?
You know what? It could be anything at this point.
All right.
8 years doing it. D. It could be anything, right?
Probably said something about his favorite fighter.
About his
Mario.
favorite fighter.
You didn't say his favorite fighter. You didn't say his favorite fighter walks on water, man. That's the problem.
That's the problem.
Hey, but shout out either way. I don't know what the issue is, to be honest. I have no idea. The boxing historian, or he might be joking. I don't know. Run PMC, Mr. Sinister, Nopal Boxianos, the GOAT, Tony Boswell, H Money, Mr. The Zone in the building as well. Hey, man, Nopal, Boxer Girl, everybody. Mario Figueroa says, what's up, homies? What's going on, guys? You are tuning into the 66th edition of Hispanics. Causin Panic. We are joined by Joe B from Ringside Reporter. You'll find out why we have him here in a moment. And, of course, Mario from the Boxing Voice. All right. Make sure you hit the like button. Share this video on all your social media platforms. And shout out to all the listeners on the audio version as well. You can catch us on iHeart and Stitcher and all those other things. You know what I mean? I got to memorize them. All right. Hey, the road continues. Tomorrow, Women Christian Wednesday on In the Ring with Christine, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, followed by Power Punches with myself and Calix on Calix Boxing, 10 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you guys tune in for that, all right? Make sure you tune in, all right? With that said, Joe Habeeb, talk to us. You spoke to the Botfather, brother. You spoke to him, and I want to ask you about the Teofimo thing because the dude didn't make no sense to me. I'm going to tell you that right now. I don't know. He assured you that he's not going to lose his IBF. He assured you he's not going to fight in Australia, but he can't really assure you because he didn't win the purse bid, right?
Contradicting.
Yeah, I had a hard time unpacking that one after listening to it because, first of all, Trilla won the purse bid, as you know, and we talked about this earlier. You know, when purse bids are won, and we can give some examples when Povetkin fought Vladimir. His promoter won the purse bid. The fight was in Russia. Deontay Wilder, he was going to have to go to Russia because Povetkin his promoter won that purse bid as well. So I don't know what Bob is talking about. He says Teo has legal representation. I guess they're going to try and fight, having the fight go to Australia. And then Bob said that, well, the IBF said that the fight has to happen by October. But we already thought that was going to happen anyway. So I don't, that goes without saying. So I don't think that there was an issue with the date at all from Kambosos' side. I don't think they were trying to push it back any further. I didn't think Trilla was trying to push it back any further, right? Maybe they were. I'm not aware of if they were. But, Bob isn't promoting the event, but I'm sure obviously that's his fighter. So he may be talking to him. He's probably trying to see what's going on with that fight. And, but I just don't see how Teo legally can tell Trilla where I'm going to fight and when I'm going to fight. Because, again, he signed a contract, right? He's supposed to fight Kambosos. And, Trilla won the purse bid, and he went along with it. So he's got to follow what Trilla wants to do. Now, obviously, in the beginning, they were kind of catering the event towards him. But they're a little bit upset. They voiced some displeasure with his behavior because they felt they weren't happy that he wasn't vaccinated, number one. And because he wasn't vaccinated and he was going out and about, going to all these events, sort of like what Tyson Fury was doing, they feel as though he was being irresponsible. And they feel a little bit of resentment towards the fact that they believe he cost them money. So they're trying to recoup the money that they lost. I mean, this is well documented. I'm sure everybody knows that. And that's why they're saying, let's go to Australia. And you made a great point earlier when we were talking, like Manny Pacquiao went to Australia to fight Jeff Horn, right? Because that was the best financial situation. That's where they could maximize the revenue for that potential fight. Because no one really knows who Jeff Horn was in the United States. And he's very popular in Australia. So why not go to Australia and maximize both guys' earning potential for the fight, right? So this is the same situation, right? So they Trilla is going to pay Teofimo a hefty purse for this fight, and in order to justify that now, because they lost money already because of the rescheduling, right? So in order to recoup that, they're going to have to put it in an arena where they can generate the most revenue, and that's looks like to be Australia. So I don't see what Teo's legal defense is going to be here. I don't see if he has a leg to stand on if he's going to fight this. I just don't see it. And once again, to end it, Bob Arum was the guy who said that we're going to win the arbitration. We all know that. we all know how that played out. And also too is if you're getting legal advice and your legal advisor is telling you, oh, we got this. The other side is saying the same thing to their side. So everybody has a perspective. The law, the perception of how the law is interpreted is going to be different, no matter who you like, regardless of who you talk to. So one lawyer is going to say one thing. He's going to have his own interpretation of what he believes is right and how he believes the case is going to play out. And the lawyer on the other side is going to have his interpretation as well. So who's right and who's wrong? That's for a judge to decide.
That's right. That's right. But here's the problem, though. Like, and I saw the mic light up, jump. So I know you wanted to jump in, but let me just say this really quick, okay? Right? The mic has spoken. I see the mic. The mic looks at you, bro. Look at the mic's like, no. But here's the thing, though. When it goes to purse bids, like if a fighter allows it to go to purse bids, the upside is, yes, maybe someone's gonna, and in this case, that's what happened. They're gonna put up more money, right, for the event. But just like it went to purse bids for the Klitschko Povetkin fight, the manager of Povetkin or the promoter, that is, whoever it was,
Ryabinski,
right? He outbid the other side. And guess what? Guess where the fight happened? In Mother Russia. Okay, that's where the fight happened. Okay, Wilder Povetkin. I believe you told me as well. Joe, they won the purse bid. Where did it go? Mother Russia. Okay, like in Putin's backyard. Okay, that's where it was. So at the end of the day, they're the ones paying you the $4 million, brother. If they say it's going to be in the Bahamas, guess where you're going? You're going to the Bahamas. Okay, if they say it's going to be in the middle of Wyoming or some shit, that's where you're going to go. If they say that the fight's going to be in Ecuador, you're going to fight in Ecuador. They're the ones paying you. You're the one that schemed, and I'm not even mad at you about it, to get the fight over to Triller, all right? Because they were going to pay you far more money than Bob Arum. Good for you. Get your money, but at the same time, you lost the right to say where the fight happens. You can have a say, of course. I'm sure Triller wants to work with you, but if they feel it's best to be done in Australia because they can get a stadium over there, they get some of that money back, then that's where the fight's going to happen. What do you think about that, G-Funky? What are your thoughts on that? Because I know your mic's just staring at me, just saying, I want to talk.
I see the light outside my window. No, I'm just kidding.
The mic lights up. You know what time it is now. But I want to say this, like, you know, he got his money, which is what he wanted, right? That was the goal. They wanted to get paid because they had just beat one of the top pound for pound guys in the world in Lomachenko. They have a mandatory defense now with the IBF and George Kasmbosos. Here's the thing I don't understand is we had Teofimo Sr. on a few months back. We asked him about this fight, and they were all good with it being in Australia back then. I mean, remember we asked him about that? And he was like, yeah, we're going to go over there.
I forgot about that, but I'm glad you reminded me.
He's like, yeah, we're going to go over there. We're going to make a lot of money. You know, there's going to be a live audience there because they were way ahead of the curve when it came to COVID than the United States was. So I don't understand why it's a problem now. Like, to me, it shouldn't be a problem.
No, you're right, because Bill Haney, remember, he was saying that, there's no crowds in Australia, and he was wrong about that. But he said it because the Lopez's were saying, we're going to make a lot of money in Australia. You're right about that. I forgot.
The sequence of events is, remember, originally Bob wanted this fight, and he wanted it in Australia because he knew that Kasmbosos was a draw. Okay, once the situation with COVID prevented that fight, that's when he started losing interest. That's when you started to hear Bob talk negatively about the fight and about Teofimo, because he knew at that point it was going to have to happen on U.S. soil, and he wasn't going to have the gate as a cushion, right? He wasn't going to have it as a safety net to protect the financial interest of that fight. So, then here comes Triller, goes way over the top as Bob tries to undersell. And now you're in Teofimo's situation, sitting there thinking to yourself, like, well, why do I need the guy? I don't need anything. I already got paid. Y'all are giving me my money just to fight this guy. So, he's trying to call the shots, but we know that in the sport of boxing, belts don't call shots. Stars do.
Not only that, too, like, people are asking, well, why all of a sudden is he upset? I think Teo is really a guy, but we talked about this before, Mario, like how fighters have fragile egos, right? They all do.
Yes.
But some of them are more fragile than others. And to me, like, Teofimo sometimes seems like he overthinks things too much, and he really he just seems sometimes to be a little unstable sometimes, right? Like, he lets things bother him too much. Things get too personal for him. Like, he doesn't know how to separate the personal from the business. And that's just my interpretation, just from watching him and listening to him, seeing how he moves, So this seems to me like, okay, I'm gonna stand on my square, and I'm not being pushed off it here. This is more or less, I'm not gonna let these people dictate to me where the fight is going to be. It's like I'm not going to give up my home turf, my home court advantage here to this guy. But at the end of the day, you got to look at the other side of it. This is where you separate the emotion from the business. Why not do what's best for the event, right? Because more people are going to be watching it. The gate's going to be bigger. Maybe my pay-per-view upside could be bigger as well, because maybe moving it over there. I don't know what his deal is. I don't know if they're going to give him a portion of the revenue from the Australian pay-per-view revenue. I don't know how that. I'm just thinking maybe Trilla, and I'm just me, just thinking this, right? That maybe they're gonna give him a piece of the total pay-per-view revenue. Who knows? So in any case, why not go over there and just put yourself in the best financial situation to make the most money possible? Because that's what you were, that was the focal point of this whole thing from the beginning, was the money, right? That's what he complained about, was the money. And right? I want to get paid. So let them put you in a position where you can get paid on the back end.
Yeah, and at least according to his father, they were all good with it. He was saying, we're gonna go down there, we're gonna make close to 10 million or something like that.
That's what I'm saying, because that would enhance their back end if they go down there.
Yeah, I don't see an issue. Just go down there, do it, get your money. I think he's gonna beat Kasmbosos, and we move on to the next one,
But this is where the personal doesn't get separated from the business, because now he believes probably that I'm showing weakness because I'm cowtailing to what they to their demands, right? They're dictating to me where this fight is going to be, and I should be the one dictating to them where the fight's going to be. But again, it's all about the money. Like, you got to be smart about it. Sometimes you got to just put all that aside.
Money talks and bullshit walks.
Think about the money, right? Your wife's having a baby. You just bought a house. It's all about the dollars at this point right now, right?
Yeah, got to keep it real. I mean, if you're good with Australia before, right, you should be okay with it still. Like, I get that the circumstances have changed. I get that you already have a guaranteed money and all that, but make no mistake about it. I mean, the original plan was to go there. Like, this idea that you're going to vacate the IBF, that's a horrible idea.
Terrible.
Right, but people, where does Bob get the confidence to say that he ain't gonna lose the IBF?
Well, once again, if you're talking to people that are telling you what you want to hear, that gives you confidence, right? So once again, his side is feeding him with information that is favorable to the situation, and the other side's got a different story. But if you're going to be objective here, and you're going to look at data from the past, right? You're going to look at the past empirical data that we've had. Whenever someone's won the purse bid, they called the shots. Always. I've never seen a situation where someone won the purse bid, a promoter won the purse bid, and some fighter steps in and says, "We're not having it." I didn't see Klitschko say to Ryabinski, "We're not having this fight in Russia." Deontay Wilder packed his bags and he was heading off to Russia before Povetkin positive for the Meldonium. Right. So we have to just look at the past, right? And once again, we can't put much stock into what Bob says, because Bob double talks a lot. He contradicts himself a lot, and sometimes he puts out conflicting information that just doesn't make sense, right?
And, for all the criticisms that I've given Tank Davis, I mean, Tank Davis has fought outside of the country. He fought in the UK.
He went to the
right?
UK, yeah.
Like other fighters have, if you got to go out of the country, man, you fought Lomachenko, you face bigger obstacles than this. You know what I mean? It's not like you can't do this, Yeah. And you never know, you might absorb some of his fans. You might have a fan base in Australia after this. Yeah. Bro, that shit's a continent and a country all in one, right? Like, you never know.
They're diehards too. Like, they support Ebain Bridges like nobody's business. They support Tim Tszyu. Tim Tszyu is a player in his division because of how much of a draw he is and how much support he gets from his country. So it's a country that's just waiting for somebody to support, somebody to grab their attention. And, maybe it's obviously easier to do with your countrymen, but that's not to say that you can't go out there and impress them enough to take them with you. That's what happens with Mexican fans a lot of times too. We appreciated Triple G after we saw him, in California in front of Hispanic fans. So, who's to say?
Yep.
That's right. That's right.
And if And if Teo Senior's correct, and they're going to be able to get a ton of back end money if they go fight in Australia.
Exactly.
Then why not do it?
Why not?
Exactly. That's the part I don't get. It's like,
right?
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not add to the
Unless-
padded?
But
Unless Bob Arum knows somebody in the IBF, I'll make sure. The Godfather will make sure.
But Teo, that's the one concern I've had with Teo is just that, like, just that behavior, just his personality. Like he just lets too many things get inside his head, and he just seems to get distracted and really get upset about things. And I don't know. I think it kind of takes away some of the focus from his boxing. That's too many outside things interfere with his boxing.
I think you're right. I think that's an issue that we've all seen, and behind the scenes too. It's like things that you hear and you're like, whoa, and it goes back to the whole ego thing, like you said.
He's talked about it several times about like how outside issues have interfered with certain fights and his training camps and stuff like that. His father said the same thing. So you got to be able to kind of zone that stuff out and just try to just focus and just put the blinders on when you got to fight and everything. When you're sitting down and negotiate, put all the personal feelings aside. Business is business and personal is personal. This is your job. This is your future. You got a family. You're trying to set yourself up for the rest of your life, right? Think of it that way. Don't think of today. Think of tomorrow and the next day and the next day after that.
Look at that.
I know he's a young kid, but he's got to start thinking like a man right now.
Who needs Mr. Rogers when we have Mr. Habib right here? You know what I mean? Just dropping these are dimes. He's dropping knowledge for free too.
This is 52 glorious years on this planet.
There you go.
Sharing the experiences.
Make sure you guys catch Joe Habib's interview with Bob Arum. Catch it before some media dude calls Arum and asks him the same questions. You know what I mean? Like it.
Or somebody else to take it down.
One more thing I wanted to touch on because we have to. He touched on the Fury Wilder thing. He claimed that everything was going well. He said, what did he say? This is in second hand. I was there.
This isn't secondary information, man. I had my elbows over the top rope watching this.
And he was like, I was there. I saw it. But look, okay, I get it, right? But he did say if unless I have earwax in my ears, that Fury was showing symptoms, but we had Glacier yesterday saying that he was asymptomatic, that he had no symptoms. So there's a lot of conflicting information, right?
Yeah. The most startling thing that was revealed to me in that interview, and I did not know this, because Micaiah Mayer said that they don't start testing you. They don't test you for COVID until 2 weeks out from the event.
You reminded me of that. Yeah.
Bob said it was 1 week out. So, and he says if you don't show symptoms, then they're not going to test you. And I had a problem with that. And I challenged him on it because what I'm saying is there are people that have very mild symptoms, right? When they get it and they think they have something else. So they won't get tested, right? Because they don't think they have it. So those are the people that could spread it to everybody else. And that's how you get an outbreak, and which was the case in this situation, right?
Exactly.
So if I'm a fighter and I have people in my camp, I'm telling everyone get tested at least once a week. At least once a week, right at the beginning of training camp, right? Because if someone does have it, you want to isolate them immediately, right?
Yeah.
Because think about this. People buy these tickets to the events. And there's a guy that I know on Facebook, good friend of mine, right? He lives in California. He got bought tickets, flew out to the event and everything, and he can't get a refund. So now he's gonna have to fly out there and spend, he can't get a refund on his hotel or his flight. So he's just have to go out there on vacation for a vacation now, right? So by waiting so close to the event and then having the potential for the event to be canceled that quickly and with very few days, with a week out, that is detrimental financially to all the people who buy the tickets and reserve their hotels ahead of time, right? Because you're not going to be able to get refunds. The airline's not going to refund you the money. The hotel's not going to refund you the money.
A week out, bro. Like
so to sit there and say like these. I'm just going to say it. These effing boneheads that are saying, "Oh, not that much. No, it's not a No money was lost. Like this actually benefits anybody by postponing the event. What is the upside here to postpone this event?
I was there. He looked good.
So to sit there and say this was by design and oh, they didn't lose, that doesn't really matter. They don't lose money when this happens. It's just ridiculous talk. And if he was gonna try to get out of the fight, why would he use COVID as an excuse? He could just go to the doctor and say, I sprained my ankle, I sprained my knee. You go to the doctors, he'll grab your knee, feel it, move it in a couple of directions. All you got to do is say, oh yeah, that hurts. Boom. Patient has pain in knee. I recommend he's not able to fight at this time. He needs 3 weeks rest. Anyone can go to a doctor and get that done. Why would you have to fake a COVID test?
People have said that, but maybe the promotional company does, but the fighters don't. Guys, like these sparring partners don't go there for free. Okay. Like they got to pay the sparring partners, and if they're going to delay the fight, they're going to still spar. You're going to have to keep paying them, bro.
But the guy's been out of the ring for 15 months. Now he's going to be out for 20. How does that help him? Now he's got to train twice for one fight. Who the fuck wants to go through 2 training camps for one fight? I know I don't.
Yeah, it's crazy talk, man, from the other side. I love how they all of a sudden proof matters for those guys too. You know, we've asked these guys to provide evidence for all the claims they've made for over the last year and a half, and now all of a sudden it's like, I need proof. I need to see a doctor's documentation or whatever. Like, the fuck out of here.
Now, Mike Tyson would say this, right? This is what Mike Tyson would say. This is how Mike Tyson used to beat drug tests because he used to do like recreational drugs. He would have someone pee for him. That's fine, okay. Because a doctor or a lab technician is going to look at the pee and they're going to just report what that pee is. That's not fraud. That's fraud on Mike Tyson's part, but it's not fraud on a lab technician or a doctor or whatever. Because a doctor is going to read the results, right? So for this whole plan, this concocted plan to work, a doctor is going to have to lie on a result. And that is minimum 5 years in prison, lose your medical license. It's a felony, let alone you won't practice medicine again. You won't even be able to work at McDonald's again if that's on your record. So why would someone risk that?
What I wanted to touch on was, and what I believe the real issue is, the irresponsibility of the camp because it was an all-out outbreak. And I think that's
irrefutable.
I just think that, you know, I can't let a lot of the Fury fans out there off the hook. In other words, you know, like I get that there's a lot of the extremists out there going too hard for him, but I can't let it off the hook.
Who's the biggest Fury fan you know?
There's a pattern of behavior with this dude. Now, granted, like I said on last Thursday's show, this could be like the boy that cried wolf, right? Maybe this time the wolf did show up and he has a real reason, right? I get it, but I'm telling you right now, man, if it gets postponed again, I don't want to hear anybody tell me, oh, but I don't care what the reason is, because I mean, who's the most unlucky person in the world like that? Okay, that's number one. But here's what I wanted to touch on. A week out, bro. Right now, shout out to Christine Lopez, okay, an assistant coach for Team USA. They're gonna go out there, man. Let's hope they get some medals. Let's hope they bring some gold, some silver, and some bronze out there. You know, so shout out to her. They test them every day, brother. Like they got their shit together over there, right? Like the protocols are set in place, and they're handling multiple athletes from multiple sports and multiple facilities, and they're training and they're sparring and they're breathing and all that other stuff that Glacier was talking about. They're doing all that, and I don't see any outbreaks. Okay, there should have been tests. There's no reason why they can't do testing at least every other day or something, right? That's my opinion.
And the ticket sales weren't bad either. That's bullshit, because not only he confirms that they weren't bad. I've had other people and other sources tell me they were going well. So the total gate is 19 million. They already sold $15 million worth of tickets already with 3 weeks out.
Here's the thing, though, right? The second fight, the rematch, set the highest gate
for a heavyweight fight.
For a heavyweight, the richest, right? The richest.
Yeah, for a heavyweight fight. So even if it does less than that, I mean, it's only doing less than the best ever at heavyweight. The idea that they're going to postpone it because it's not selling well is ridiculous to me.
At the very least, I would suspect and speculate that it would have done at least a $17 million live gate. which is not.
No, I'm not factoring inflation, by the way, but I don't even want to go there. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Inflation, inflammation.
The first fight did generated $19 million at the gate. This would probably do at the very least maybe 16 or 17. That's a great live gate. Think about this: Joshua Klitschko in front of 90,000. That was an $11 million live gate. So,
Yeah.
So just do the comparison there. Okay.
Well, I'm glad you went there with him too, B, because that was like a big part of the narrative that I didn't get at all. I mean, like,
no one asked him the question. No one asked him that question. No one was going to.
Oh, they're going to ask him now. Oh, they're going to call him.
But what I'm saying is, I appreciated the fact that Beeb went there with him.
Thank you, Mario.
Because nobody else had at that point, and it was such an easy thing to. And I don't mean, obviously you have to understand what you're doing and be there on the spot and be prepared. But at the same time, it was like to me, it was like a no-brainer. It's like, out of all the things that you could say, at least he's in a position to be able to say that. Like, he's not a doctor. He can't talk about COVID, in beyond like what he knows for secondhand or firsthand. But going back to the whole situation, you're absolutely right. Like, it was handled poorly. It was handled poorly, and there's no like heroes in the situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nobody that you could just kind of like wipe your hands with and they get a free pass, nothing at all. At the same time, to me, what's bothered me is the ongoing thing that's bothered me is that these fans that are a little too obsessed with this fight at this point are making it worse for everybody, and to constantly and continuously insert their own narratives, without any proof, and these are people that don't cover the sport, that haven't been here as long as, as you guys, right. And us, and understand the way this stuff works. You know what I mean? It's like, they're just adding up whatever they can to get to their own conclusion. Oh, well, he pulled out in the Vlad fight. Then he went missing for 2 years. Now he's doing this because he's scared. You know what I mean? Like, all that is just, it's
confirmation
nonsense.
Bias, Mario.
Yes, confirmation bias. Good point.
But you know why there's no heroes here? Because you either die a hero or you live long enough to become a villain.
Sick.
And let me tell you something. Arum's lived so long. You can't call him a hero. I mean, I'm just saying. Bro.
Yo, that was a good one. I said, they're gonna think I set you up with that one.
Yeah. Hey, Beeb. Everybody, by the way, make sure you check out Ringside Reporter. You can see Beeb's interview there. Remember, Beeb asked them first. Just putting that out there because I already know how they roll. You know what I mean? Joe, Beeb, give us any final thoughts you have about the Arum interview you had, and tell everybody where they can find you on social media before we let you go, brother.
Okay, well, the final thought I have too is this is what people are saying. Well, they're going to delay the fight to October because the travel ban will be lifted, and then he can put it in a stadium and they can generate more money at the live gate. First of all, he confirmed that the fight is going to stay in T-Mobile. So they're not moving it from T-Mobile. And he also said, we sold $15 million worth of tickets without the Brits. So once again, that's the other rumor that's debunked, is they didn't do this so so they can benefit from the travel ban and the UK fans come over, which I'm hopeful that could happen. Don't get me wrong. I'm rooting for that to happen. That's great. But they were going to sell out or pretty much damn near close to sell out without the Brits. That's the pace they were on. So that's that. You can find me at JHabeeb1 on Twitter. You can find me at Joe Habeeb on Facebook, YouTube channel, Ringside Reporter Live. New time for the podcast, 6 p.m. Eastern, every Sunday. Myself, Eric Loda. And thank you so much, everybody, for the support. Thank you, guys. Always a pleasure. And I'll talk to you all soon. Have a great night. Stay safe.
Absolutely. Ringside Reporter. Everybody make sure you subscribe.
All right, man. Yeah, be good.
All right,
absolutely. Absolutely. All right, shout out to Ring IQ Boxing Talk with a super chat. It says Fury hit Wilder with a Mjolnir. I believe that's how you pronounce that. I could be wrong.
Mjolnir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. So shout out to you, brother. All right. Coco the Dawn. It says HCP is war. Tyson, the irresponsible Fury. Absolutely. At best, this is what I've been telling people. because I want to move on to the next topic. I just want to say this, and if you guys want to add anything, that's fine. But at best, he was irresponsible. That's at
Yes.
best.
I think that's the perfect way to say that. At best, he was irresponsible, and it's not to say that it's something he can't come back from. You know what I mean? This isn't like, we've seen this throughout the MLB, NFL, NBA. Guys get irresponsible. Guys take for granted the situation they've been in health-wise up until the point, and things like this happen. But
And I question how serious Fury was about fighting AJ. And I don't like to take sides in these situations, but brother, you only took one shot. And you didn't take the second one because it was too close to the fight, which tells me it took forever to take your shot. The shot's been around. I'm talking about the vaccine.
Yeah.
Like you expect me to believe, like when you announced it, that you were being serious, but you hadn't been vaccinated yet?
That's a great point.
Yeah, like there's a lot of red flags here. I got to question how serious they were about it. You know what I mean? But
Yep. It seems like just some people, they just don't get it, man, at this point. It's been over a year now that we've been dealing with this pandemic. Still people refusing to put on the mask, stay away from people. And, it really does amaze me, man. I've done my best to, like I said this last night on my show, I'm not vaccinated. I don't plan on getting the vaccine. So what am I doing? I'm staying away from people. I'm wearing my mask everywhere I go. I'm cleaning my hands every chance I get. But some people, they just don't do that, man. And, it really is sad that in this day and age that we have to tell people to do these sort of things, So it's definitely 100% on them for allowing this to happen. No doubt about it. My thing is just, I'm just not going to get on board with these guys saying that he did it on purpose. That's just crazy, or that he's faking it.
Okay. I got that. I got that for sure. There's a lot of nuance to it that I don't think a lot of people want to acknowledge. And with a guy like Fury, erratic like that, you need nuance. I'm going to let you guys know right now. Shout out to everybody in the chat. By the way, make sure you hit my like button, share this video on all your social media platforms. Hit that subscribe. Feel free and all that, man. And hit that bell button. That way you're notified every time D-Style Boxing goes on live, including this show. We're joined by Mario from the Boxing Voice, and of course, Chief Funky, partner in crime. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? But check it out. Hispanic causing panic of the week. Okay, well, I nominate Cenisa Estrada, not only because of her performance, but because she wanted to, throw down with Esparza in the parking lot after the fight. You know what I mean? She's calling her out. I'll fight you in the parking lot. Let's go. Like, if that's not East LA, I don't know what is. You know what I mean? So shout out to her. That's why I got. Who do you got, Chief Funky?
I'm going to vote for Sullivan Barrera. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm going to go Jojo Diaz, man. That was a big win for him. Stepping up to 135, getting a big win and a good fight as well against Javier Fortuna, who was a guy who not a lot of people are interested in getting in the ring with. I'm not saying they're afraid, but he hasn't had a good fight with any of those dudes at the top. He was supposed to fight Linares. He gets COVID, right? Nobody said he was faking that, though. And Ryan Garcia was supposed to get a crack at him as well, I believe. He's supposed to get a crack at Linares, too. Those two fights never happened. So I think that's a big win for Diaz moving up to 135 and beating this guy.
Yeah, I agree.
Mario, you concur with anybody, or you got somebody else in
No,
mind?
Listen, I was actually going to go with JoJo. You're right. I'll tell you what, Ryan Garcia needs to go with JoJo and somehow find Devin in there too and throw them Christmas gifts for what they did for him, because G-Funk's absolutely right. Those guys were on, their way for Ryan fight, and, they took care of his business. But I'm going to go ahead and recognize, and shout out to, first of all, let me recognize you guys for doing this. HCP, Hispanics Causing Panics, giving fighters, their shine and doing this. I love it. I love this segment. I think it's a great idea. And it allows me to recognize someone like William Cepeda, who was in a really good fight. For all the people that talk about Golden Boy doesn't match the fighters like this or like that, you know what? They have done this plenty of times where they've put undefeated guys against each other. And they did that this past weekend. William Cepeda who you might remember from being on the first ever Ring City card televised from the Wild Card Gym. He was impressive. He scored the 5th round knockout, came out and stopped Hector Tananahara, who is from Texas, and I'm a big fan of as well. I think he'll bounce back as well. But he did what he was supposed to do. Now he is 23-0 with 21 KOs. This guy's got real power out of the southpaw stance from Mexico, and in the lightweight division. And yeah, man, he's just somebody I think deserves recognition for what he did. And definitely, if you haven't seen him, keep your eye on him.
He put on a clinic, man.
He did.
He put on a clinic. I want to give a shout out to Tanahara as well. He's a young kid. I hope he bounces back.
You're a good dude for that.
Yeah, you gotta learn from this one, man. You got to take this one on the chin and learn from it. But I think he'll be back, man. But Cepeda, man, he put on a clinic.
Hey, man, William Cepeda is a puncher, bro. Straight up. I want to see him against Isaac Cruz, bro.
That's man, what a fight that would be.
Man.
Love it.
Let me spit my water out with that one. Woo!
And the polls there, guys, make sure you vote, because the winner of that poll is going to be the HCP of the week. Okay, there could only be one, right? And so make sure you vote. And now people might say, "Oh, we can't get that fight." One guy's with top rank, one's with Golden Boy. You're crazy, these now. That wouldn't happen. Well, actually, a trilogy is about to happen for August 14th. Joshua Franco against Andrew Moloney from Australia. Speaking of Australia, it'll be the trilogy, the first fight. Big upsets. You fucking called that one. Joshua Franco was a big underdog, and he pulled it off in a really good, solid fight. Rematch. It looked like Moloney was winning the early rounds. We don't know how it would have proceeded, but there was a dispute. Was it a punch? Was it a headbutt? And you guys remember the long-ass replay. Like, Jesus Christ.
I remember that more than the fight.
Oh. Dude, like, goddamn. And Arum almost having a heart attack. All that good stuff. You know what I mean? Mario, what's your early forecast for this fight? Who do you think is going to win this one?
Look, I'm going to be totally transparent here. I am from Corpus Christi, Texas, and Joshua's from San Antonio. I called him as well, G-Funk, so good call. Great minds think alike. Right. But he definitely needs to make adjustments. It's funny because he's the winner on record, but what was going on that second fight looked bad. It looked like it was going to be very hard to turn the tide. So I'm still going with Joshua. I think he's durable. I think he's a guy that's never really out of it. The punching power is kind of, it's not about that. To me, it's about his ability to stay in the dogfight until he can position himself in the ring to be more dominant, to utilize his plan, to keep his pace, to keep his distance. He has that ability at any point in the fight. He's never out of it. I can understand if people think the smart money's on Moloney based off of what we saw, because the first one was so close to the second one, but I'm still rocking with Joshua.
There we go. Gee, funky. What do you think, brother?
I'm going to have to agree with Mario here on this one again. I'll say this, to your point. Moloney was getting off. He's getting down early in that rematch. I must admit, but I feel like Franco, he kind of started slow in the first fight as well and worked his way into the fight late and kind of wore Moloney down. So I'm not too worried about it, but I do feel like he's the better fighter, and I think he's going to continue to come forward, put that pressure on him. I felt like the first time they fought that, this is what I put into my thought before I picked Franco to win and to drop some money on him as well. I was thinking, man, Moloney's away from his family. He's been away for a long time. This is his first time fighting in America. That's a lot of pressure, man. A lot of pressure to put on somebody. And not to mention the pressure that Franco was putting on him in the fight as well. So he did a tremendous job of getting in there and winning his first world title. I expect him to defend it and to say and still at the end of the fight. So I'm rolling with Franco again.
Absolutely. People are saying it's a Spanish bias. You know what I mean? Like check it out. But check it out, man. If you don't like it now, just wait. But first of all, props to both guys, by the way, for making this fight happen. Really, it was the right thing to do after what happened in that second fight. I felt like okay, the solution here is to fight again, and now. Unfortunately for Moloney, Franco doesn't have to make an adjustment from one round to the other, which can be done, but it's really difficult. Now they could go back, they could watch tape, and they can make the adjustment in training camp. You know what I mean? And I think he has the advantage in the corner with Robert Garcia, with a lot of great sparring partners over there. And I believe it'll be a war. I think it's going to be a lot closer than even the first fight was, because Moloney is no chump. I mean, I'm not basing this off of Moloney being trash or something. I think Maloney's good.
Yep.
I just think Franco's going to beat him. I'm gonna roll with Joshua Franco. That'll be August 14th, guys. So I'm going to give you an early preview on that. And there you go. Just to show you that Top Rank and Golden Boy can work together.
Yep.
Okay, just saying. All right. Now, I want to talk about the Jermell Charlo Brian Castano fight. All right, big fight, undisputed, ladies and gentlemen. The road to undisputed. And yes, we're going to talk about that plant thing, so stay with us. All right. We are on HCP 66. That's the episode today. Little Charlo, Jermell Charlo. For those that don't know, okay, like who's Jermell? Who's small? Like Jermell is a little one, 154. But I think he's the better one. I think and I didn't feel it that way. If you would have asked me like 4 years ago, I would have said Maul, but he's shown me otherwise. But Mario, I want to start with you, brother. Who do you believe is going to win this fight?
I'm rocking with Mel. I'm rocking with Mel. I think Mel's got the superior gifts in this fight. I think that the matchup favors him stylistically. I think what we saw in the Rosario fight was a Mel who's ready to take it to the next level. And this is the next level to claim all four of the titles. It's something super rare that's done. I feel like he should get as much credit as anybody would get, if he were to accomplish that. That said, this will absolutely solidify who the better Charlo is. And it doesn't have to be a competition, but fans are always going to make it. Let me tell you, I've been covering these guys because I live in Texas since, they were, 2-0. And it always went back and forth. At the very beginning, well, Mel's the better one. Let me tell you about Mel. Mel's the better one. Okay. And then as they started developing, well, Maul's the better one. Let me tell you why Maul's the better. And so it just kept changing back and forth. But it's about solidifying your abilities, and it's about recognition through what you do in the ring. And there's no higher achievement than capturing these 4 belts.
Absolutely. I agree with that. Chief Funky, what about you? Are you feeling the upset, or Argentina?
Argentina, man. You know what? I just dropped my prediction on the channel, so if you guys want to go ahead and check that out too, you can as well. But we're going to talk about it right here because this fight needs to be talked about. Number one, yeah. It's not getting enough coverage. It's just not.
Great point.
Same thing with Taylor Ramirez. No coverage at all until the week of the fight. It's terrible, man, because this is what fight fans should want, man. The best versus the best. All the belts on the line, undisputed at 154 pounds. And it's a great matchup, too, I think. I really do think that this is a 50-50 fight, in my opinion. Now, I'm going to pick somebody, but I see certain things in both fighters that make me believe it's 50-50. And also, I have a feeling that this fight is going to go the distance, and I have a feeling that it could be a candidate for fight of the year. I see fireworks with the way that these two guys like to come in and throw punches. They like to put the hurting on their opponents. Neither guy really likes to take a step back, although Charlo can move on the back foot a little bit. I think he prefers to come forward, though, and unload power shots. He's got good power. He's shown he's got a good chin. Castano, he's pressure, man. And his fight style kind of reminds me a little bit of Sean Porter. Not exactly like Sean Porter, but a little bit like Sean Porter, where he comes in, he leaps in, he can get you at angles, he can spin around and throw hooks to the body and stuff like that. He had a really good performance against an Eneslandi Lara, who's not a guy that is easy to look good against. He is a crafty guy, and he had a lot of success in that fight. Now I know that wasn't a prime Lara like the one that Canelo fought, but still a very good Lara, no doubt about it. And he fought well in that fight. So I think that at the end of the day, I'm going to have to go with Charlo in this one. And the only reason why I'm going to go with Charlo is because I think that the judges are going to value his shots a little bit more than they will Castano. Castano might outwork him in some rounds, and those are going to be the rounds that he's going to win. But I feel like at the end of the day, the judges are going to say this guy was landing the harder shots, especially if he gets a knockdown. I don't know. I don't know. Man, I love this fight so much, man, but I know that Charlo is known for his powers, where Castano's more known for his work rate. So I feel like the judges will value that a little bit more, which will get him over the edge. But I do think it's going to go 12, and I do think there's going to be some great rounds in here, man, because the way that I'm looking at it and the way that I'm hearing these guys talk about the fight, both of these guys, man, they're hungry. They're real hungry. There's not a lot of talk about the fans or the money or none of that. These dudes are just so focused on this fight and winning these belts. Neither one of these guys is going to give up. They're not going to make it easy on each other. This is going to be a great fight, man, but I'm going to roll with Charlo in this one.
Shout out to Coco the Don. I appreciate the support, brother. He says, everyone talk about where Charlo on the pound for pound. If he wins, where would you put Castano? Man, that's a great question, brother. Like me personally, if Castano wins, wherever people have Mel, that's where you replace him with Castano. I think that makes perfect sense to me. You know what I mean? If you think Mel's 5 pound for pound, that's where Castano is, because obviously, like, he's better than him if he beats him, right? That's what I would say. Real quick, G Funky, what would you put Castano if he wins more or less in a pound for pound?
I hate answering these questions because I don't do pound for pound. I would just say, you know what? He's
Coco,
one of the best.
You got him.
Yeah, he's one of the best fighters in the world if he beats Charlo for Undisputed, because that's what I'm most impressed with. I'm not too impressed with the guys that jump around, because we all understand it's easy these days to jump up in weight or move down in weight, whichever one you want to do, and pick a guy who looks to be the easiest champion to grab a belt from, and then you can say, "Oh, I'm a 2-division champion. I'm a 3-division champ." No, these guys are beating all the champions in their division. To me, that's more valuable. I know there's some people out there listening that might disagree, and that's cool, whatever. But I mean, if I did make a list, I would have to do it just like you just said, D-Style. Wherever you would have Charlo, if he's on it, you'd have to put Castano there.
What do you say, Mario?
I don't have either of these guys. Well, obviously Castano, but I don't have Mel in my top 10 pound for pound. If he wins this weekend, I will find a place for him. Even if I have to take out my dearly beloved Estrada, I will do it. And it's because he deserves it. And so I would do the same thing for Castano.
Yeah, he's going to be like the Mexicans when we were little kids and shit. We had one sedan and we fit like 20 people in there. You know what I mean? He's going to find a way. You know what I mean? I'm just saying right now. Okay?
That's a good metaphor. I like that.
Like, you know what I mean? That's what it's all about. Hey, Big Dog Willie, I appreciate the sports public service announcement. Fury is a duck. Laughing.
Oh, we love you.
Loud.
We love you, Big Dog.
Hey, man, I'm halfway there, brother. Bro, Fury's like 2 fuck-ups away from me, like being a full-blown Glovegate believer. You know what I mean? That's it, brother. Like, stop getting me there. You know what I mean? Shout out to Crenshaw, Freddie Shanks. He doesn't see it. Teresa D says, salute HCP, Boxer Girl in the building. How's it going? Nando Llamas, big supporter. We appreciate the support. Hit the like button. Check out the poll. 27% for Sinisa Estrada. Come on, girl power. You bunch of misogynists. Come on, you got to vote for her. You know what I mean? Jojo Diaz, 37%. Willis Cepeda, 37%. We can't end this in a draw. Y'all got to start voting. You know what I mean? Put in your vote.
Yes.
Right? Put in your vote. Put in your vote. Okay. I think Sinisa is going to make it like a last minute comeback is what I think. You know what I mean? That's right. Okay. But with that said, don't cry for me, Argentina. Don't cry for me. I'm just saying.
I love when he sings, Mario. I love it.
Hey, but let me tell you guys something right now, man. I'm hoping he wins. Don't get me wrong. I'm pulling for Castano. I like him, man. The dude's a warrior. I'm going to be pulling for him. And it's nothing against Mel. I like Mel too. And whoever wins, I'm not really upset or anything like that. You know what I mean? But, not only that, he's an underdog. And there's always been a special place in my heart for Argentinian fighters. You know what I mean? I'm a big fan of Monsoon. Shout out to him. Best middleweight of all time, in my opinion. If not just second behind just Hagler, if that. right? And then of course you have, other like Sergio Martinez. I was a big fan of him. You know what I mean? And then his knees went out on him. But with that said, there might be some nostalgia there. There might be just me wanting to see other nations succeed in boxing. You know what I mean? And the fact that, I'm a little transparent with like, I support Latino fighters, but if Jermell wins, it's all good because I'm also a fan of Jermell. Texas stand up. You know what I mean? What I love about this fight is that the fan bases aren't going crazy. It's not personal. It's not about shit that has nothing to do with anything. It's about two fighters fighting for the hierarchy of the division to see who is the best. And that's why I watch sports. I'm looking forward to getting those butterflies in my stomach as soon as that bell rings, because that's why I watch boxing. That's why I watch it.
Best feeling in the world, man. When it comes to boxing, what's a shame, D-Style, is a lot of these new age fans out there, they don't like that feeling. They hate that feeling. That's why they're okay with their fighters picking and choosing easy fights and stuff like that. I want my guys challenged, all right? I want a challenge. That's what I live for,
Yeah, I just want things fair. Like, I want it to be where when your fighter does something that you complained about with the other guy, well then, you know what I'm saying? Like, call him on that stuff too. Like, it's just they set different standards. They constantly move the goalpost, and but it is what it is.
Hey, yo, Ariane says, Argentina not crying. Messi done good with the Copa America win. It's about time you win some. Like, you know what I mean? I was joking in the end.
Yeah, they're going to come for you.
Yeah. But with that said, I have to put any biases aside and be objective and look at it just from a boxing perspective. I'm favoring Jermell Charlo to win this fight. It's what I'm expecting. If you're a betting person, I would kind of lean it towards that. Okay. I'm not here to give people, gambling advice or anything like that, but just saying.
Shout out to Dwyer.
But
shout out to Dwyer.
Yeah. This is just a complete stranger online. Okay, guys. But make sure, here's what I'll say. Make sure, that you get your popcorn ready, because I do believe it's going to be a hell of a fight.
Yep.
Okay, I'm anticipating like an 8 rounds to 4, 7 rounds to 5 Mel decision win, and it might even be controversial. I think we might have somebody who's picking Castano might show up next Tuesday saying, or on Monday on Chief Monkeys when we do the aftermath, they might be saying, "Man, this is a bunch of bullshit right here. They robbed the Argentinian." You know what I mean? Like, you never know. We might have that type of fight. We might get a rematch. We will see. But, man, this is for all the marbles, guys. This is what it's all about, which is my next question to you guys. Where's the buzz? Like, I'm excited, but that's anecdotal. That's just me. You guys are excited. That's anecdotal, but where is the buzz? I see more talks about Fury and his COVID than this fight. I'm seeing more of that. Like, where is the buzz? Why isn't Nestor Gibbs doing a whole show about this? What's going on right now? You know what I mean? Shout out to Nestor Gibbs in the chat, by the way. You know what I mean? I want to know, like, what is it? Is it not good for the ratings, this fight? Like, what is it, Mario? Why is there no buzz? In all seriousness, why is there no buzz with boxing fans? Like, I don't feel it. Maybe it's just me.
No, it's not just you. I feel the same way. I feel like I was more buzzed about it, and not because I'm not just as excited today as I was when it was announced, but when it was announced, I felt like, okay, this is going to be like not just a coming out party. I mean, because, Mel and Maul, they already had that with their pay-per-view. But this is going to be the one that takes him over the edge, right? But, just like with Crawford, it was the same thing. He unified, and then he started pushing him towards always pound for pound great. And, ESPN started putting all this promotion behind him, and he started to become, a central figure in that move with ESPN. That said, I can tell you that, on the show earlier this week, we talked about the fact that, it's hard when you're an A side trying to do it with a B side, especially when that B side, doesn't speak English and isn't able to produce the same kind of, headlines that a B side that does, speak English. And, for us, that's not a big deal, right? We can read between the lines, literally, with Spanish. But at the end of the day, it doesn't help, him cross over to that other side that you need to gain that perspective and to gain the casual fan perspective, right? I think that's part of it. I also think that sometimes people overestimate the Charlo's star power. I'm not saying they're not stars. I'm saying that they are stars to a specific degree, and they're moving up. You know, they need those big fights, though. They need the Triple Gs, the Canelos. They need those fights that take them over the edge and put them into the stratosphere of the casual fan. This fight is not really it. Even though it's a big deal because of the 4 titles, it doesn't have that namesake. You know, when Canelo was fighting the Mosleys and gaining that reputation, you know, feeding off of their history, Mel's not able to do the same, you know, and you got to respect him more for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to add to the questions, you Funky, for you, like, I didn't feel the buzz for another undisputed fight, Taylor Ramirez.
True.
Like, what is going on, bro? You would like, for years, before you go, for years, I've been hearing boxing fans say, like, especially the ones that like are always bitching and complaining about everything. You know what I mean? Like, why do you guys always talk about all this shit, man? I just want to talk about the fights, man. That's what I'm tired of boxing. Like, the best don't fight the best, blah, 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 blah. But, okay, well, where y'all at?
Right.
Like, where are you guys? Like, where are all these fans that swore, I just want to see Undisputed. I just want to see the best fight the best. Where are they, G-Funky?
Man, we're gonna have to put an Amber Alert out for these dudes, man. They're missing now. All right, too busy talking about all this novella BS with Fury and Wilder and all this other crap, you know. But yeah, look, it's a shame, man. It really is a shame because Undisputed does so much. It really is healthy for the sport of boxing because in a sport, the sport that we love, the sport that we cover, you know, it is very sick. You know, I'm not going to say it's on life support, but it is sick for a lot of reasons. One of those main reasons is champions don't want to fight champions. There's 4 fucking champions in every division, or we should at least say 4 belts per division that can make you a champion. Every time I talk to a casual about an upcoming fight, they'll ask me the first thing, who's the champion? Well, they're both champions. Well, what do you mean they're both champions? And I got to explain to them the whole thing, you know, like, and then by the end of the conversation, they don't understand what the hell I'm talking about. And they're like, well, see, this is why I don't follow boxing like I used to, you know. In this situation here, we got a guy who's got 3 belts, including the Ring magazine, and another guy that's got the WBO, and they're going to fight and then there's just going to be one champion in the division, one guy who is the man, undisputed. It clears up all that garbage, right? Makes it easier for the casuals to come into the sport and say, hey, look, this guy's doing it right. You know, this guy, there was 4 belts. He wouldn't got them all, you know? And whether he decides to stay there and defend his undisputed crown, I mean, I hope he does. That would be nice, too, to see that, you know? But if he decides to move up or whatever, he can't make the weight, it is what it is. But that would make it even better. We'd have a guy who's the ruling undisputed champion. Same thing with Josh Taylor. I hear he's going to defend against a mandatory. So this is good. This is good for the sport, man. And it should be getting more. I have no idea why it's not. It really does blow my mind why more boxing writers and people that are like the promoters themselves too should be getting this thing out there. You know, they're too busy talking about Tank Davis, you know, him fighting Barrios. Like, what the fuck? They're like, fuck that fight. We got a fight right here. All the belts on the line, baby. Let's go, man. I'm sick and tired of all this stuff, man. Let's bring boxing back to where it used to be, man. And this is the type of fights that do it.
Hey, Big Dog, what it says, there's no drama. That's why the fight is dry. Thank you very much for the donation there, brother, and the support. Yeah, but is that where we are now? Like fighters need to pretend to have beef and fight over a girl, or like like WWE, right? Like we got to create storylines now to sell to the public now, that the fight isn't good enough now.
Listen, I get that to a degree. I am a wrestling fan, you know, and I know that Bret Hart and Owen Hart, 2 of the greatest wrestlers of all time, but it wasn't until they started the storyline of brother versus brother that it made me that much more interested. My man, look at that, quick with it, you know, and so that's the thing is I do get that part of it. I wish I didn't, and I wish I could just say that the titles are enough usually, and they are for this fight. You know, for me, I'm good, but I understand why it doesn't move the needle. You know, that drama is important. You know, that's why Fury Wilder, regardless if it has a date or not, it's always going to be a thing. You know, even AJ and Wilder, people still talk about that. White put his name in that. Anybody who moves the needle, they're going to gain the attention of the casual fan. Unfortunately, with this fight, as much as it's worth, as great as it is, everything G-Funk said is absolutely correct. It still doesn't move the needle based off that lack of drama.
And make sure you hit the like button, guys. Make sure you hit the like button. Share this on all your social media platforms. And check out the HCP Bret Hart style logo just for Mario right there in the corner. You know what I mean?
My man.
Right.
This
The excellence
is-
of execution.
That's right.
That's right. And he excellently executed what he just said. Well said. You know what I mean? Hey, look. I just want fighters to beat themselves. You know what I mean? Like I think
That's
like
right.
you could tell, like Mayorga early on, like all his antics, you could tell they were like organic to a certain degree.
For sure.
And then later on, like when he in the Mosey rematch, you could just tell like, it wasn't organic anymore.
Yeah.
Conor McGregor, you could just tell it's not organic anymore. Like you could just tell, you know. And I think I don't know what people like fakeness, because what explains Manny Pacquiao being the star that he is? I never see Manny Pacquiao slam somebody through a table or call somebody a motherfucker. I never heard him like curse anybody. That would be funny as hell.
That would be
You know what I mean?
crazy.
Hey, motherfucker, shut the fuck up. Like, whoa, Manny. You know what I mean?
Mix that with the
You
Canelo and you got
motherfucker.
yourself a hit.
I will beat your ass, you motherfucker. Like, whoa,
Get
man.
the fuck out of here.
You know what I mean?
Yo,
Like,
man.
like sometimes when we touch, the feelings too much. You know what I mean? So shout
That's
out to
actually a
Manny.
good impression. There you go.
Yeah. But he'll be like, but fuck you. You know, like, whoa. You know what I mean?
Ay, cabrón.
But like,
Yo, that
that's
would be my
thing, like,
ringtone.
Manny didn't do all that. Like, look, Morales Barrera obviously was a big fight in its day, right? But that was organic. Like, those guys weren't pretending to not like each other. That
They
was
hated
some
each other.
real beef, you know? So maybe if this is a close fight and one guy feels robbed, maybe that'll be the beginning of a beef, and then we'll get it in the rematch, right? Because, look, remember, like, you know, Wilder and Fury were hugging and kissing each other in the cheek, you know, in the first fight. Look at where they are now. You know what I mean? So you never know where it might go, okay? At the end of the day. What's going on, Potato Bass? How you doing, HLD? But they want Canelo to sign a 3-fight deal. PBC joke. Actually, I'm glad you said that. It's a great segue to the main event topic. All right? Canelo Plant, ladies and gentlemen. All right?
Can I say something real quick,
Canelo.
Easton?
What's that?
I want to say something real quick, man. We
Go ahead.
got
Yeah, of course.
50 people watching and only 35 likes. Man, hit the damn like button, all
Well,
right?
there's 5
The
unlikes.
light.
It's free. Hit the like, okay? You want to support HCP? That's the best way to do it. Just hit the damn like button.
Make sure you vote on the poll as well. It's tied again. Jojo and William Cepeda. What's going on? No love for Sinisa Estrada. All right. That's okay. Yeah, hit the like button, guys. For those watching on a cell phone, you can press the X on the top right corner. It brings down the chat. You'll see the like button there. Press it. And then you could go to, click on the chat, icon, and you'll pop up with the chat again. We appreciate you guys being here, and definitely, hit the like button. It'll give the channel more visibility, man, for sure. All right. For those listening on audio form, like us that way, whether it's 5 stars or whatever it is. Let's talk about, he's behind me, isn't he, right here? Caleb Plant. All right. According to Michael Benson, PBC is willing to do a 1-fight deal, according to his source, right? So I'm going to believe him in this one. I don't see why he would lie, but you never know, right? But I'm citing him, right? Chief Funky, what do you think? They're willing to do I don't even think this should be debatable, but they're willing to do a 1-fight deal with Canelo for this Plant fight for Undisputed.
Man, I hope it gets made. As much as I was over there on my soapbox on the last topic with Charlo and Castano, no hype around the Undisputed. This one right here could get people on board with Undisputed, especially casuals. We know Canelo's got a lot of fans, a lot of casual fans, but a lot of fans, either way you want to look at it. And him going for Undisputed will definitely educate some fans out there that probably don't know what that means in the sport of boxing. And of course, I'm all for it. I love it. You got to support anybody and any of the fighters that are willing to mix it up and put it literally all on the line to become the man in the division. I hope that Benson is wherever he heard this from. I hope it's true. I was the one after the Saunders fight. I was the one that was saying that Plant is going to take the fight. A lot of guys didn't believe me. They were saying he was going to duck. PBC is going to ruin it. I get it. I hear you guys, but I said to myself, you cannot be a competitor on this level of the sport and not want to challenge yourself against the guy who is, again, the number one guy on most people's list, pound for pound. Number two, he's the biggest cash cow. You're going to make the most money you've ever made fighting this guy. And number three, for all of the belts, legacy on the line, money, big fights in the future. You have to want to take that challenge as a competitor, man. And Plant, he's got to do whatever he has to do to make this damn fight happen. And if they're willing to do just a one-fight deal with Canelo and it's on pay-per-view, well, damn it, take my money because I'm paying for that one. All right? I'll pay for it. I paid for a lot of pay-per-views last year that, quite frankly, weren't up to it. They weren't even pay-per-view worthy to begin with, but I need to watch my damn fights, okay? But this one here, no complaints at all. I'll pay for the motherfucker, no doubt about it. And let's get it, man. I hope that whoever he heard that from, it's going to happen, man. So let's go. I'm ready.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, look, here's what I want to say before I go to Mario, okay? The upside, think of it like a poker table, right? And look at it, all the upside that's chips. Canelo literally has all the chips, and Plant has like one chip. So he's still in the game, but he's got one chip. He already took Saunders' chips. He already took, Smith's chips. He has his legacy chips. He has the money chips. He has all the chips, right? Sorry about that. I got to get used to this, guys. You know what I mean? So he's got all the chips. Plant has one chip, but then the dude's like, oh, yo, but I got leverage. Now, don't get me wrong. Canelo wants that chip, though. I'm not diminishing that. That's a chip he really wants. Like, I want that chip because that chip is going to make these chips that much bigger. And I get that. So he does have he has something, which is why he's going to get paid $10 million. Which is why, look, I'll be the first one to say, if it comes out that they offer him $4 million, I'm going to be the first one to say, come on, bro, are you fucking shitting me right now? You pay Jacobs 15, brother. Like they paid like a lot of dudes double digits. You set that precedent. You have to pay that to Plant, right? So I'll give that to him all day. But that's you. But you got one chip. You're gonna get paid for it. You got it's on Canelo's terms, bro, because he's got all the other chips. And then if you win the fight, you take all those chips, all of them. That's it. Just think about that. Think about what you gain off a Canelo fight off the back end. Now you become your Caleb Plant from Nashville, Tennessee. You think people travel for Cali Public from Youngstown? Or just wait till they travel for you. Your $1 million paydays are on the horizon for you. You're going to be the A side against Benavidez. You're going to be the A side against all the other PBC guys or anybody else. When you get off the back end, if you really believe in yourself and you believe you could win this fight, supersedes anything. To me, and I said it to Ness earlier when I called in, Al trying to get a 3-fight deal, it's almost like telling Plant, I don't believe in you. I don't think you're going to beat Canelo. So that's why I want to lock him in for at least 3 fights. So I personally don't think a 3-fight deal is necessary at all, actually, because you don't call the shots. You got one chip and you're going to get paid for it. That's my opinion. But Mario, what do you make of it, brother?
Yeah, first and foremost, shout out to ESPN Knockout is who is reporting that PBC is now and Al is offering now just a 1-fight deal. And it was important for that because we'll live in, let me hop in the DeLorean. We'll live in this morning's, world. And because I wasn't able to be on the show, but I heard it and I could not, as much as I love him and he's one of my best friends the last decade, Ness is completely wrong in the situation. For him, one of the things he had said is like, I'm a boxing fan, not a Canelo fan. I'm a boxing fan. And as a boxing fan, I want, the Plant fight, the Charlo fight, the Benavidez fight, in that, order. And it's like, regardless of what you want, it really doesn't matter because there's a green print. We know the way these things work. And to say that, him becoming a free agent is based on his ability to tie himself up with another company, like that doesn't make any sense. But regardless of what side you're on, you cannot do that to Plant. You can't put him in a situation where, well, we're not going to get you the fight because we want to get everyone the fight. We don't think that, because you're absolutely right, D. You're absolutely right that it's a lack of belief is what it looks like. Those are the optics from where we sit. It has to be, because you're saying, like, look, we want 3 shots at this man. We're going to go and, give him the shot that, probably won't get it. Then we're going to, make sure we get somebody in there that really has a shot. And then if he's still left standing, we're going to give him the young bull. Like, no, that's bullshit. You cannot suggest that that's fair to Plant in any way. And we've seen this before. We've seen this with guys like Kid Chocolate. We've seen this where they've, where Al's made them turn down these, career high paydays or these, fights with other people and other stables with other promoters. We've seen this over and over, so we know what's going on. And by the way, it's not just Al and PBC. Everybody does this. Top Rank does this. Golden, but everybody wants to lock in and secure the fighter that's probably going to win. In this case, this is what it should be. A one-fight deal, winner takes all. That's the way boxing should work. Like, we're the fans. We're supposed to be the boss, right? That's what they always say. Well, the fans are the boss. The fans are. If we're the bosses, then let's take this fight by fight. Like, I want to see the best fight that we can see right now. That's not my job to secure what the second best fight is next and what the third best fight's going to be. Like, all of that. I want to see the next fight. Canelo can only fight one fight at a time, and that's the way the deal should be structured. If he wants Charlo after that, then he can do that same deal again and again. Like, that's real freedom, and that's the kind of freedom that they gave Mayweather. That's the kind of freedom that they gave other fighters that reached that plateau. So, you gotta respect the same from Canelo. And so I hope they do take the one fight deal. This fight has been missed many opportunities, and I don't think they can afford to miss it again.
I definitely agree here, man. I mean, this is, all the above. And another point I want to make is this. Okay. And it's like, if you look at Floyd Mayweather, right? Aside from the, like Manny Pacquiao, Miguel Cotto's, guys that were draws in their own right. You know what I mean? Aside from them, Robert Guerrero didn't make anywhere near 10 million.
Nowhere.
Okay. He couldn't even see it. Okay. Floyd didn't even let him look at the 10 million. Okay. Like, I think you got 4 million, which is high. And that was Robert Guerrero playing hardball, by the way. Okay. For what it's worth. My Donna made what, 3 million or something like that? And then like an extra mil because Floyd didn't want him to wear a certain pair of gloves, so he paid him to not wear them, right?
That's accurate.
I want everybody to think about that for a moment. Canelo is probably, and this is not an exaggeration, one of the best A-sides when it comes to paying his opponents. Ever. Right? Now, has he reached the point where a Pacquiao can make what he made with Mayweather yet? No. But I'm talking about guys that are like far in B-sides. That B-side's getting some good money with Canelo. $10 million, bro. 15 million for Jacobs. 14 or whatever it was for fucking Kovalev.
It's life-changing money.
Like freaking, look, Yildirim, didn't he make like 3 or 4 million for this, or 2 million? Yildirim, bro. That's like a, pit stop on the way to another big fight. And the dude made life-changing money. The type of money Teofimo Lopez is trying to make right now. Just think about that for a moment. Caleb, so not only that, not only are you getting paid, you're getting legacy out of it. And then what you can make off the back end. Hell, if you go the distance with Canelo right now, you know what they're going to say? Man, Canelo's been destroying dudes. Like Plant went the distance. He won like 5 rounds against Canelo. You're still going to be somebody that they can watch. You know what I mean? So I just
take something from the loss. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Those are those kind of fights.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like Mayweather Cotto, Cotto lost, but he had a resurgence. Like, everybody believed in him again, and then that's when he went and it was with Freddie Roach, and they had that run they were on. You know what I mean? So it's possible to take something and loss, and if you're a Plant, you're absolutely able to do that. And by the way, it's not writing him off either. Like, nobody's here saying, or at least not me, is saying that he has 0 chance in that fight.
That's right. Make sure you guys hit my like button. Vote on the poll. Look at this. Jojo D is ahead. Let me bring Nancy here really quick from Women Crushing Their Wednesdays. Make sure you catch the show on In the Ring with Christine, 8:30 Eastern. That's the show there. If Tracy could put the link so you guys can subscribe. Nancy, how are you doing?
Hey everyone, thanks for having me on. Great show.
What's
awesome
up?
topics, and I apologize, I'm in the car, so bad lighting. You get my avatar today. But thank you so much. Appreciate the time to let us talk about our show tomorrow. So Women Crushing It Wednesday. For those of you that tune in, you know that it's hosted by Christine Lopez, In the Ring with Christine, and our host is in Tokyo right now. So she's with Team USA Boxing. And you still get the rest of us. So please make sure to tune in. And that is a new time. So that's going to be 7:30 p.m. Central Time, 8:30 Eastern. I'll be on with Boxing Republic. We're also going to have Tracy on, Boxer Girl, who's on the chat right now. So thank you, Tracy, for sharing the links. And Nate is going to be on as well. And of course, the Fotógrafa de la Gente, which is Esme. So we're going to be talking about a lot of the stuff y'all have touched on. We're going to talk about the zone fights, the women's boxing piece, a lot of great stuff. So thank y'all for tuning in.
Absolutely. Before you go, who's the Hispanic causing panic of the week? Estrada, Jojo Diaz, or Cepeda?
Ooh, you know, I'm gonna go with Jojo. I'm gonna go with Jojo on this one. I'm telling you, I felt like, who am I watching? The brunette, the goatee, the tattoos, you know, he was in there ready to do business. So I'm going to
thought it was Kasmbosos for a second. Nancy, thank you very much for coming on. Letting everybody know about the show tomorrow. You have a good one, okay?
You do the same. Thank y'all so much. Keep crushing it.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Night.
There you go. Make sure you guys tune in and subscribe to In the Ring with Christine. Speaking of subscribe to G Funky Boxing, always contributing to the channel. I've been doing this over a year now, since we started taking it serious for a year now. Slowly growing, but growing, and we appreciate the support, guys. Let's go to final thoughts here. Anything you want to say and plug in? Talk to us, Mario. Any final thoughts before we close out the show?
Yeah, just looking forward to the fights this weekend. All we can do as real boxing fans, which is, us in the community, people in the chat, like, we are real boxing fans because we wouldn't be here if we weren't, right? It's up to us to continue to push the word and the value of great fights. And this weekend is a great fight. Tell a friend and tell him to tell his friend. We have to keep pushing great boxing. We have to show them we're the bosses. That's what they say all the time. The fans are the bosses. And, we have a responsibility as bosses. We have to push out the word. Please, put it on Facebook, tweet it, Instagram, whatever you got to do, but push that fight out there. There's no reason that it shouldn't put up the best number Showtime has put up this year and in a long time, because that's what this fight represents. If we don't do that, we're not going to continue to get these big fights. So please, make sure you do that. Mario Munguia, The Boxing Voice, at The Boxing Voice on YouTube. Check us out every morning. Come by, sub, check us out. And this Friday we'll be in Atlanta. Check my bio at Mario Munguia on Twitter and Instagram for details. Also at The Boxing Voice.
Absolutely. This was Kasmbosos and Jojo. They ran into each other.
That's
what's
hilarious.
going on with this guy, bro? He looked just like, I was like, wait a minute, did Kasmbosos jump in? Like, what's almost the same haircut. They got the tattoos and stuff. Like, I don't know what that was about, brother. Like, whoa, hey. Like, you know what I mean? He substituted for him. Maybe that's why he won G-Funk. Maybe that's why he looks better.
Yeah.
G-Funk, tell everybody where they could find you, brother. Everybody subscribe to G-Funky Boxing. Everybody subscribe, and give us some final thoughts, brother.
Yeah, that's right. You can find me here on G-Funky Boxing on YouTube. Also on Twitter at GFunky84. That's where you guys can find me as far as like social media goes. That's all I got. That's all I have time for. I am married with children, so I gotta, of course, have time for them first than anything. But like Mario just said, put the word out about this fight this weekend. Undisputed on the line, two good fighters, all the belts on the line. That's what this sport should be all about, man. we complain about champions not fighting champions, but we got it here. And let's hope and pray that these two guys that you see in the bottom right corner can get a deal done, and we can get another undisputed fight before the year is over. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button. And if you're new, subscribe. HCP, baby.
Hey, hashtag HCP when you share content on Twitter and all that, guys. Hashtag HCP. We're taking over the hashtag. Some medical thing was on Twitter, but we're already on the hashtag HCP. When you go to Twitter, the top stuff is our boxing stuff now. It took us like a year.
Good.
Getting it out. HCP. Hashtag HCP. You share the link. Hashtag HCP. Let's get it out there and all that good stuff. By the way, tomorrow. For those that came in late, just go back, watch the rest on archive, hit the like button, you know what I mean? Share the video. Check out yesterday's show with G Funky, okay? And for those listening on audio form, iHeart, Apple Podcast, and all that, shout out to you guys. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Women Crushing It Wednesdays, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on In the Ring with Christine, followed by Power Punchers at 10 p.m. on Calix Boxing. Right, so make sure you check that out tomorrow with myself and Calix, talking about the power punch. We're going to be talking about this Pacquiao Spence thing. Something Pacquiao said that he thinks Spence is better than Floyd, or we're going to talk about all of it. So make sure you guys tune in, and of course 9 a.m. tomorrow p.m. Eastern Time a.m. for the Boxing Voice. With that said, this is D-Style Boxing, guys, and we are out of here. Peace
Thank
out.
you, fellas. Appreciate it.